some goals for some of these goalies. Give me both teams to score in the first period. That's coming in at plus 185 compared to the over 1.5 that is at minus 120. Okay, you guys ready? Let's make some freaking money. It's time for Bucket with Jo. Hey, good morning, everyone. Happy Tuesday, Jo here at SportsGrid. It's time for Bucket with Jo over here on a SportsGrid TV. The ice is packed tonight. We've got 11 games out there. We're going to go over picks, props, and predictions in each and every single one of these games. So buckle up. I hope that coffee is warm. Mine is cold, but I don't mind my coffee a little bit cold as we go over each and every single one of these games today. Now, if you haven't downloaded the SportsGrid app, I encourage you to go do so. So you guys check it out. You definitely don't want to miss out on everything that SportsGrid has to offer. Okay, we're going to jump into these games. We're going to do it nice and quick. The Boston Bruins taking on the Toronto Maple Leafs is the first game we are going to talk. Now, if you're looking for where I'm finding these odds, they are all over on FanDuel. The Boston Bruins are the dog on the road, which is kind of surprising. I don't know when the books are going to learn that the Boston Bruins just beat the Toronto Maple Leafs. They've won the last 5 games as a dog versus Toronto. The last, I believe it's 8 meetings overall. Toronto's minus 126 at home. The Boston Bruins plus 105 on the money line, and then that total is sitting at 5.5. Swayman expected here for the Boston Bruins, and Joseph Wall expected for the Toronto Blue Jays. I do think the Bruins can get the win. We're losing value in this. They were plus 128 just moments ago. It feels like moments, but that was probably 7 o'clock my time, which was 3 hours ago when I first got some of these bets in. So I do think the Boston Bruins can win this. I do think if you're looking for value, though, you look at the overtime game here. I think this is either a 3-2 win for the Bruins in OT or a 4-3 win for the Bruins in overtime. So that overtime bet coming in at plus 360. We know the Toronto Maple Leafs can score, and we know there's been struggles here for the Boston Bruins offensively to find the back of the net. They're not getting those high danger shots. So I do think the Boston Bruins are more likely to win a 3-2 style game versus a higher scoring one here, but it's still not out of the realm. So I'm not going to touch that total either way because I do think this is a better bet. Instead of looking at the total to go to overtime. Battle of the Atlantic between these two. This is always a close battle. Of course, there's no value on the puck line. Now, we did just see this matchup back on, I believe it was the 26th of October, and we did see the Bruins win in that 4-3 style game, and they have won the last 8 meetings, last 5 as a dog. The problem here is this team does take too many penalties. They need to stay out of the box. But the thing is, here with Toronto, their power play is so weak. It's only converting at 10% of the time. So Boston should be okay. Still, if they play that scrappy game, they have to start cleaning things up. And another real big knock here against the Boston Bruins is they have struggled on the road. But when they've dominated a team like they've dominated the Toronto Maple Leafs, I have to take them with that plus money that we've been able to see. Now, Toronto has been scoring those goals. They've won 2 of their last 3 games as well and been able to put up 13 goals over the last 4. So those goals have been coming. If you're looking for goals tonight, you want a goal scorer here for the Toronto Maple Leafs. I am looking at Nylander. I do think Nylander can get on the board. His anytime goals plus 180. I would also look, he's leading this team in goals this season. And then Brad Marchand here for the Boston Bruins. That's who I would circle. His anytime goal coming in at plus 270. You guys know I like Pasta out there, but I like Brad when he's facing Toronto. He really does end up finding the net versus them. Okay, you guys, let's make some freaking money. That's right. If you guys could drop a like, drop a retweet, drop your comments. Let me know what you're liking today on the ice. I would so greatly appreciate it as we go over the rest of these 10 games. Also, let me know where you're watching from. If you're watching from in the States, if you're watching from Canada, if you're actually down in Australia, I know there's a couple of people down there or over in Europe. I'd love to hear, or in Asia. I'd love to hear it, guys. So let's jump into Calgary. Calgary is on the road taking on the Montreal Canadiens. Both of these teams so hungry to get a win on the board. We know Calgary had that strong game versus the New Jersey Devils versus their former goaltender, unable to get the 3-0 shutout win. And then they fell flat in the Battle of Alberta. They fought their way back, tied that game up, and then Edmonton ended up scoring that next goal, scoring that third goal, which was a pivotal goal in that matchup. And then from there, things just got from bad to worse as Calgary pulled their goaltender, and then the empty netter came in that one. So Calgary off that loss. Montreal is on a losing streak as well. Sam Montembeault, while he started the season so phenomenally hot, has really come back down to earth. The goaltender, a lot of people expect him to be. I still have faith in him. He's like my Sam Darnold of goalies. So when you look at quarterbacks in the NFL, I've always believed in Sam Darnold, and I believe in Sam Montembeault the same way. So looking at the Montreal Canadiens, young, fierce, talented team that never stops fighting. They're coming in at plus 116. Now, Calgary is the favorite at minus 140. It's way too much juice to lay on Calgary right now. Both of these teams are in a rebuild, and Calgary really did start off the season so strong, stronger offensively than we expected. Jonathan Huberdeau really stepping up on the season and leading this team with a couple of the other players that were around last season. So while I like Calgary here, I don't like the value on that money line at minus 140. I can't bet it. That total sitting at 6.5 at minus 110 either way. These two teams have trended to lower scoring. I could see this one starting off fast and slowing down. I'm going to look at the first period, over 1.5 goals. The over 1.5 goals coming in at minus 138. I know it's juicy, you guys. I'm going to split that. Whenever I tell you I'm looking at the first period over 1.5, and both teams to score, I'm splitting it. I'm putting half a unit on each because, one, I don't always love the juice that we're laying on the over 1.5 at minus 138. I don't love it. You guys know right around the minus 140 is my limit, but I love the plus money we're normally getting on the both teams to score. So I'm kind of covering myself if one team comes out and scores twice. I do expect the fireworks to start in this one. So the over 1.5 at minus 138 and the both teams to score at plus 158. So a half a unit on both of those. My only concern here is in that first period is Dustin Wolf actually has performing so much stronger than I would have expected. And Sam Montembeault as well. I do think at some point he's going to look like that goaltender that we saw in those first couple games where everyone was like, he is going to be fire this season. We know he has it in him. So I'm going to be cautious. I think one of these goaltenders isn't complete fire in that first period. One might be. So half unit on both of those. Now, I do like the value on Montreal as a home dog. I know I'm a Calgary fan here, but I tell you the fight in this team, especially if Calgary goes up, for Montreal to come back and looking at those puck lines, looking at a couple of different ways to live bet this game for Montreal because they never do say die out there on the ice. Caulfield really lighting things up as well as Nick Suzuki. Now, looking at Calgary here, they grind out these games. They will battle to the very end. These teams trend to that under, but I can't take this one under. I do think it is a great way to look at the over. I know I said like the first period over and then it might slow down. I really would lean closer to it going over 4-3 style win for one of these teams. Now, Calgary won the last two meetings, but Montreal was able to win those 5 prior. So it's kind of, half a dozen of the other kind of thing there. Now, Kuzmenko for the anytime goal. He looked so dangerous in that last game versus the Edmonton Oilers. I do think Kuzmenko gets on the score sheet today for the Calgary Flames. He's coming in at plus 190 just to drive and the way he's playing out there on the ice. Now, Mackenzie Weegar can score as a favorite. We've seen him be able to light the lamp in 3 of the last 4 games for Calgary as that favorite. Rasmus Andersson has been playing strong as well. This is the first game on the road for Calgary here. They're at the Bruins on Thursday and the Sabres on Saturday. They get back home on Monday to face the LA Kings, which will be a hard battle. So not an easy road trip and not an easy return here. This is a one-off home game here for the Montreal Canadiens, which That is my hesitance here with that home dog price on Montreal, because I don't love the scheduling spot. Thursday, they're back out on the road versus the New Jersey Devils, the Leafs on Saturday, and then Monday versus the Sabres, Thursday versus Wild. So they've lost their last three, you guys. Both these teams will be eager. I think that best bet is that first period, both of these teams to really light things up. Happy Tuesday, Kev. Good to see you from NC. Love it. Thank you so much for joining, Bull. And Adam, good to see you again today as well. Okay, let's jump into the next one. Oh, one trend to look at, Calgary has won their last 7 games when listed as a favorite. So kind of, looking at those trends always and what we're seeing out of those teams. So the Philadelphia Flyers versus the Carolina Hurricanes. We know the Canes are returning back to that defensive form that we all like to see out of this team. This total sitting at 6.5, but highly juiced to the under at -132, plus 108 to the over. We have the Carolina Hurricanes over a $3 favorite on that money line. The puck line numbers is what I'll give to you, because I don't encourage anyone to take favorites on the money line looking at those prices. I don't even like favorites above -140, you guys. So that's just kind of my preference. I know a lot of people will bet -170, -180 favorites. It's just not what you're going to get for me. The Philadelphia Flyers plus 1.5 at -105, and the Carolina Hurricanes -1.5 at -115. If I had to take one side of the puck line over the other, it would be the Flyers, even though it's a scary situation. They've covered the puck line in the last 4 games versus the Carolina Hurricanes. So this is a team that they normally play tight. Battle of the Metro here. So you get the best out of the Flyers when they're facing the second best team in the Metro to date here, with the Carolina Hurricanes sitting 8-2. It's a scary situation though, because we know Carolina is so strong offensively, is so strong defensively. Their power play is clicking at 26.5%. They have one of the best records for shots on goal, actually the best shots on goal, averaging 35.9 shots on goal. So if Urgent isn't at his best today for the Flyers, we are going to see Carolina just fly over this total themselves, right? So it's kind of scary looking at a total, looking at the puck line here for Philly, but I do think with the Flyers off that shutout loss to the Bruins, you are going to get this team giving it 100%, because heads are rolling right now in the locker room for the Flyers. Now, when I first looked at the total, I looked at their total under 2.5 goals at -142. The juice is too high, but then I started really breaking down how they have done on the road. So on the road, they have been able to actually get these goals on the board. They've got 3 goals at least in 7 of their last 8 games on the road. So this team, for some reason, the goals are coming on the road. Goals are struggling at home. They're still only averaging 2.5 goals per game and 25.7 shots on goal. The good thing is here, they should be able to control those faceoffs. They've got a really strong face-off. They've been winning 51.1% of them, and they're really great on that kill. 4th best PK in the league. We are going against a strong kill here, though, for the Carolina Hurricanes. Their kills coming in 7th, 84.6%. So tight on those kills. And again, we've seen the dominant matchup here by Carolina, winning 9 of the last 10. But again, they've only covered the puck line in those last 9 wins 3 times. So in the last 4 games, we've seen the Flyers cover that puck line. They're just so strong at locking down their opponents. And with the struggles to score, the Flyers have to bring it, and they have to bring everything that they have tonight. So we will see if they're able to get it done. Like I said, you guys, I'm going to roll with them on that puck line plus 1.5 at -105. I'm also going to lean on the over 2.5 goals here for the Philadelphia Flyers. That's coming in at plus 112. Now, I do think we could see the Carolina Hurricanes, and I'm liking a lot of first period puck lines. Carolina to get up in the first period, even if it's a 2-1 first period, Carolina getting up and somehow the Flyers sneaking one in on the puck line, laying the half a goal in the first period, coming in at plus 112. They've won their last 6 games, you guys, and they got that 4-2 win versus the Capitals on the weekend. The Pittsburgh Penguins are on deck on Thursday, so there's no real look at, but I could see them getting up in the first period as well. So much I'm liking in this one. Kev, if everyone could like, share, or retweet, I would so greatly appreciate it. and taking the puck line with the Canes. It makes sense. It really does make sense. Take the Carolina Hurricanes on that puck line. I just can't get there. The Flyers are such a great old team. And good young talent as well. So it's going to be an interesting one to see how they do in this one. I am going to roll with those trends of them being strong on that puck line. But, you look at Carolina and you look at Carolina's defense and what this team is able to do. And it lean you towards the Carolina Hurricanes on the puck line. I'll just take a chance on those trends. And for the Flyers road trends to really come to life with them going over the 2.5 goals. Now, the Ottawa Senators take on the Buffalo Sabres. That's our next matchup, you guys. We're looking at an Ottawa Senators team that is rolling in here at -120 on the road. This team has been struggling on the road. +100 for the Buffalo Sabres. You guys know I'm high on both of these teams this season. Both of these teams I do expect to make the playoffs, which means both of them really have to get wins like this where they are needed. They need to pick up every single win. They've had some rough games out there. This total sitting at 6.5 with that juice to the 6.5 to the under at -134, which I was really shocked by. But then we start breaking down the goaltenders and what they've been able to reproduce versus each other teams. And I do lean here more to the Ottawa Senators to be able to get the win, break those struggles out there on the road, and be able to get those goals today. I'm looking at the Ottawa Senators team total. It's sitting at 3.5. I'm going to take it to the over at +130. Lankaken versus the Senators, his numbers are not good. And all marks are great versus the Sabres. So when we look at Lankaken expected in goal here for the Buffalo Sabres, he's played 3 games versus the Sens. He's gone 2-1. That goals against average is a 5.14, and his save percentage is .853. Will the Sabres be able to give him enough offensive production to get this win? I think if the Buffalo Sabres win this is a 5-4 win. So either way, the Ottawa Senators are able to go over that total of 3.5. We're getting great plus money at +130. It's the only way I want to go, because when we look at Omar versus the Buffalo Sabres, he has been strong. He's 4-1 in those 5 games versus the Sabres with a save percentage of .945. So I don't want to touch the full game total, even though I would expect the Buffalo Sabres do find his net at least a couple times in this one to help push us over that total. So I'm going to look at the Sens team total over 3.5. That's coming in at -130. In their last 5 road games, they've lost all of them except versus Utah. So this team has to step up on the road. I do think Tage Thompson, though, for Buffalo will be able to hit Allmark tonight. You could look at him for the anytime goal. He's coming in at +180. You could also look at him for the first goal. I looked at him for the first goal at +1300. I could see it coming in. Now, looking at their scheduling, we do have the Rangers on deck for the Buffalo Sabres, and the Ottawa Senators are home on Thursday versus the Islanders. I'm not going to weigh that into account because I think both of these teams need every single win they can get. We are seeing the Sens rolling in off that win versus Seattle. That was a home win. This team is strong at home. This team is just struggling on the road, 3-0. So can they break that trend today? I'm not willing to put my money on it. Battle of the Atlantic here. Both of these teams I expect to really step up. The biggest question mark is, will the Sabres be able to hit Allmark? So I'm taking that out of the question and taking Ottawa's team total to the over. Now, remember, the power play is outstanding here for the Ottawa Senators. So you're going to look at Batherson, you're going to look at Kachuk, you're going to look at those top lines. If you don't know where to find those top lines, you guys, when you're looking to play those line points or the power plays, just type in Ottawa Senators lines. That's going to take you to the NHL site that lists what those lines are sitting at for the day. Remember, they're always changing out there. Lots of these teams changing up these lines till they find the right format. If you're also looking for stats on head-to-head matchups, just type up head-to-head matchups. There's a great site that will pop up. It starts with an E. I can't remember what it's called. As soon as I go head-to-head, that will give you backdated information on all of these. So I want you guys to be able to, if I'm not here, be able to go in, look at these kind of stats that I look at the information and go from there, and always looking at the goaltenders and how they've done previously versus some teams. It's just so strong in hockey. Let's move on to the Pittsburgh Penguins. You like the Senators over 2.5. Yeah, I can see the Sens getting 3 goals for sure in this game. Let's move to the next one. The Pittsburgh Penguins taking on the New York Islanders. All odds on FanDuel, you guys. The Penguins coming in at plus 114. Minus 137 here for the Islanders. I don't love that, you guys. I don't like their scheduling spot today. This total sitting at 6.5. Now that 6.5 juice to the under at minus 138, plus 112 to the over. I think the Pittsburgh Penguins can get the win. You're actually getting more value than it was earlier in the day. It was plus 110, jumping up to plus 114. Nevalkovich expected in net, and Sorokin is confirmed here for the New York Islanders. And I know Sorokin has been strong. You've got some really good strength on both of these teams. Both of these teams have elite faceoffs. We do have a slight edge to the Islanders winning 56% of their faceoffs, and the Pittsburgh Penguins able to win 54.2. Why is that faceoff number so important? Because that is the team that is going to control the puck and try to take advantage of those situations. Now, when we look here at the power play for the New York Islanders, it's weak at 12.5. Fantastic kill here for the Pittsburgh Penguins at 86.5%. That is the sixth best in the league. We have a terribly weak kill here for the Islanders. So if the Islanders go in the box, I don't think they're going to be able or if the Penguins go in the box, I don't think the Islanders still will be able to score. But the Penguins have a strong power play, 22.2%. If the Islanders find themselves in the box, the Pittsburgh Penguins will convert because of how weak the kill is. The PK here is 65.2% only for the Islanders. I don't trust them in this situation. I think Sid has been just way too hot to deny in this game. I think the Penguins can get the win. We see the Islanders, they failed to cover the puck line as home favorites in their last 8. This is in a situation where you'd have to bet them as a favorite, but at minus 137, that's just not enough value for me to back this team. This is the first game home off a 3-game road trip. They're back out on the road on Thursday. So it's a double I don't love. One-off home game here for these teams off a road trip. I just can't back them, especially at the value. Or the juice you have to lay. There's no value in this game. So give me the Pittsburgh Penguins. Give me Sid Crosby to come out here for 2+ points. He's coming in at plus 200. Now, the scary thing is the Penguins have lost their last 7 games when listed as a road dog. That's a strong trend against this team, but I do think they come out this power play, battle of the Metro here. We will see the power play convert tonight. So if you're looking at some players where trends really hold true, Bunting has been strong. He's been able to get those assists in the last 3 games versus the Islanders. Now, the problem is on FanDuel, you can't get the assist for Michael Bunting tonight. There's no points, there's no assists. So if you can find it on your book for Michael Bunting, for the point, I would rather take the point than the assist, but I'm pretty sure his point comes via assist, so I'm comfortable with both. Now, I would look at the power play points tonight. Michael Bunting is on the 3rd line in the 2nd power play unit, but I would look at that 1st power play unit. You've got Sid, Malkin, Carlson, and Raquel all on that top power play. I would look at them to be able to get those points on the board. Mainly Carlson. I think Carlson, with the value you're getting on him tonight, is going to be golden, you guys. Senators for the win for you. Yeah, I could see the Senators getting the win tonight. Okay. We're moving on. We got 11 games to go over. We're flying through them, you guys. Thank you, everyone who is here hanging with me on this beautiful Tuesday morning. Let me know where you're watching from, you guys. That's the question of the day. Where are you tuning in from? The Utah Hockey Club are taking on the Winnipeg Jets. This Winnipeg Jets team is just blowing my mind this season, how strong they are. Offensively, defensively, they keep racking up these wins. They're now taking on the Utah Hockey Club. Utah's coming in at plus 168. The Winnipeg Jets at a $2 favorite. And it makes sense, this line, you guys. Total of 6.5. Now, the juice is coming to the under 6.5. As the Winnipeg Jets really are so strong at locking down defensively. They're allowing an average of 2.5 goals per game, 28.8 shots, and their kill is right around 76%. When we look at Utah's actually been able to get those goals, averaging 3 goals per game, 26.2 shots on goal. They have outstanding face-off. They're winning 56% of the face-offs. You guys know how important that is. But this team defensively is allowing those goals to come in. Connor Ingram expected tonight. He's going to get the puck just flying at him because Utah's allowing an average of 29.5 shots on goal. And we have a Winnipeg Jets team who is fifth in the league for their shots on goal at 32.3. I would expect the Winnipeg Jets to put at least 35 shots on Connor Ingram tonight. How many will he let in is going to be a huge question mark because this team is averaging just under 5 goals per game. They've been strong. Their power play is the best in the league at 44.1%. They've got the highest shooting percentage as well. That puck is going to be flying. Could we have 40 shots on Connor Ingram? I would not be shocked tonight, you guys. So I do think this team rolling so hot. One of these nights we're going to see is them just the comment I want to say, I can't say. Just fall down, like just not be able to get the win. Man, I hate when something comes in my mind, but I can't say that saying on air. I'm guessing you guys can guess. We'll just see Winnipeg in one of these games just not perform the way that we all expect. Everyone has that down game out there. I just don't think it's tonight versus Utah. I think the Winnipeg Jets come out and win 3-2 in this one. I would take the Utah Hockey Club's team total under 2.5. That's coming in at -112. The last time Utah, which was the Arizona Coyotes, beat the Winnipeg Jets, it was back in 2021. You guys, it's been 3 years. Is it going to be the night after I have talked up the fact that Winnipeg one of these days will take that clunker of a loss? I just don't think so. We're seeing Utah off that loss in overtime to Vegas. So they did play hard in that one, 4-3. This is the second game on the road. They have the Blues on Thursday, the Preds on Saturday. Battle of the Central. So we know the Winnipeg Jets are not going to look past Utah tonight. They're sitting 11-1 on the season. Mark Scheifele for the anytime goal here for the Winnipeg Jets. I love tonight at +185. He scored at least 1 goal in 5 of the last 6 home games for the Winnipeg Jets. Kyle Connor has been strong. Now, if you're looking for someone for Utah to step up, Clayton Keller has been great out there on the ice, leading this team in goals. The problem here is, let's look at the penalty minutes. We already talked about the Winnipeg Jets. Best power play in the league. That power play converting at 44.1% of the time, highest shooting percentage. And we see a kill here at only 79.1% for Utah, and they take penalty minute after penalty minute after penalty minute. They're averaging 11.1 minutes in the box per game, you guys. Just not good to see. Big shout out to Vinny in New Jersey and Big Brown watching in LA, California. Yeah, so you guys, thanks for watching. Watching in Seattle, Chris. I absolutely love it. Thank you guys for tuning in today. Okay, that's where I'm going with that game. Let's move on to the Tampa Bay Lightning versus the St. Louis Blues. Oh, I'm going to play this a couple ways, and I really hope this game plays out the way I'm hoping. Now, we've got a great goaltending story here. Andrei Vasilevskiy looking for his 300th career win as a goalie in the league. So it would be historic if he's able to get it done tonight. Does he get it done on the road, though? Or does he get it done at home? His next game will be at home. They play again on Thursday. I'm expecting he would play that game on Thursday, especially if they take the loss here, and that will be his 300th win in front of that home crowd versus the St. Louis Blues. I do think this is a tough matchup for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Current odds on this one, -164 here for the Tampa Bay Lightning, +136 for the St. Louis Blues. Total of 6.5, -130 to the under. So Vasilevskiy has outstanding numbers versus the St. Louis Blues. So if you want to buy into the fact that Andrei Vasilevskiy will get his 300th win, the first goalie in history to be able to do so on the road, then you bet Tampa tonight. He versus the St. Louis Blues has gone 7-3-1 with a .982 save percentage. It gives me, goosebumps to even say he's going for his 300th win. I want to see it. Do I want to see it on the road? Do the fans want to see it on the road? I guess we don't care when he gets it. It's historic here. Binghamton will be in net for the St. Louis Blues, at least expected. He's 3-5 with a 2.87 goals against average and 903 save percentage. His numbers versus the Tampa Bay Lightning are solid. He's gone 6-3 in 9 games with a 2.65 goals against average and a 914 save percentage. Looking at these teams, how they've done as of late. We know the Tampa Bay Lightning have lost their last 2 games. They lost that last game to the Winnipeg Jets 7-4. This is the last game of 4 on the road. This is a hard spot for the Tampa Bay Lightning. I just don't think they get it done tonight. And I hate to say that because I want to see Vasilevsky get that win. And I'll be the first one who's standing up cheering if they're able to get him that win tonight. Things like this make me so emotional, and I don't know why. I love seeing these guys make history out there on the ice. It's so fantastic. So I'll be cheering for them if they're able to get the win. I do think they can come out strong and win the first period. We look at the Tampa Bay Lightning, and they've won the last 4 games in the first period. The first period puck line for the Tampa Bay Lightning coming in minus a half goal at plus 150. I'll take a shot on that. We know St. Louis in some of these games, this is a team that rallies back. And I always recommend live betting this team when they go down a couple goals. They are never going to give up. They're off the win versus the Toronto Maple Leafs. That was a 4-2 win at home in their last game out. And I do think we could see them rally back in this one. So pre-game, I'm going to take the Tampa Bay Lightning first period puck line laying a half goal plus 150. I'm going to put a half unit on the St. Louis Blues right now on that money line. So money line odds for the St. Louis Blues currently at plus 136. That has not moved at all. And then the other half unit will be to come back in on the St. Louis Blues, either plus 1.5 on the puck line if I'm getting enough value if Tampa goes up by 2 goals in the first period and they're giving us right around minus 120 or less juice. And then if not, I'll come back in on that money line. So kind of play around with this. They've covered the puck line in the last 4 games at home. And right now they are leading the series over Tampa. They've gone 30-18-3 in all-time history versus the Tampa Bay Lightning. So this is a team that they can really play strong. We've got Tampa rolling as in second in the Atlantic, 5th in the Central here for the St. Louis Blues. So not a real rivalry game, but this is going to be interesting. If you're looking for goal scorers here for the St. Louis Blues, you guys know I always circle back to Jake Neighbors. I love his in front of the net puck presence that he's able to create for these teams and just throwing off those goaltenders. So he's coming in at plus 270. Jordan Kyrou at plus 230. Brendan Point is day-to-day. Braden Point is no longer here. Kucherov points tonight I would look at too. So every time I see Braden Point, I always think, no, I'm thinking, never mind. Braden Point is still here with this team. I was thinking, what's his name that moved over from Florida to Brandon Montour. As soon as I saw the Brandon, that's where my mind went in that one and questioned myself. Watching from New Jersey, you guys, let me all know where you are watching from. Let's move on to the LA Kings. Second night of a back-to-back for the Kings. We had 2 shutouts on the ice last night. The New Jersey Devils getting the shutout win and the LA Kings getting the shutout win. Not what I expected for the Kings to be able to get that shutout win last night. You know we're riding those points, so that absolutely killed me on the other side of the puck. So the Kings, second night of back-to-back, are plus 138 here, rolling in to face the Minnesota Wild. The Wild at minus 166, which I will never lay that kind of juice, but cheap price here for the Minnesota Wild if you're throwing that into a parlay. So I was shocked by that. I expected them to be closer to $2 favorite. This total sitting at 5.5, minus 128 to the over. David Rittich expected in net here for the LA Kings, and Gustafsson expected for the Minnesota Wild. Looking at the Wild, I do think with how strong this team has been, especially at home, that they can get things done tonight. I'm looking for a 4-2 style win out of the Minnesota Wild. I have no reason to back the Kings on a second night of a back-to-back, getting the shutout win versus the Preds. Now, the Wild have won their last 3 games. They're off the overtime win versus the Leafs. So no look ahead. They head out on the road on Thursday, but they face the Sharks and then the Ducks on Friday. So they have a double back-to-back with the Sharks and the Ducks. But that's Thursday, Friday. We're Tuesday. They're at home in front of their home crowd. And Kaprizov has just been so strong out there for them. They've won 9 of the last 10 games as a favorite after coming off of overtime too. So this is a team off of overtime at home as a favorite. It's an automatic bet on for me. You could look at the Wild's team total over 3.5. We know that we've seen those lapses in the Kings in a full 60 minutes. So if the Kings do go up first, I'd come back in on the Minnesota Wild because they're giving away these games in that third period after going up in the first and the second. But we're seeing the Minnesota Wild play a full 60 minutes in their games, be able to extend some of these games to overtime when they have been trailing and being able to capitalize and get the win, just like they did versus the Leafs in their last game. You're looking at Kaprizov here for a first goal scorer, coming in right around plus 600. Kaprizov's an absolutely a stud out here for the Minnesota Wild. He has 7 goals, 14 assists. Matt Boldy, also someone you want to circle. He's leading this team. No, he's got 13 points. I think he's leading an assist. I have to double check that, but he's been able to score in each of the Wild's last 4 home games. So if you want to look at Matt Boldy to come out and get an anytime goal for the Wild, I like that as well. Let's move on to the Seattle Kraken. Colorado check in. Hi, everyone in Colorado. I'm watching all the way from Africa. Wow, that is a long way away. How is the weather this time of year in Africa? What temperatures are you looking at down there? Okay, the Seattle Kraken taking on the Colorado Avalanche. Now the biggest storyline, like to get back in tonight for Colorado, adding a huge boost. This will be his season debut for the team, recovering from that shoulder surgery. He's one of their top 6 players when he is healthy. 43 goals, 94 points, 125 regular season games. He's absolute fire here for Colorado. And I do think he becomes a difference maker here. Looking at the lines on this one, Colorado, the favorite at minus 184, Seattle at plus 152. We are seeing quite a bit of movement in this line. Total of 6.5, minus 124 to the under. I do think the Avs come out strong in the first period. I want to get in and out kind of the first period with the Avs and then take this game to go to overtime. I can see Seattle putting up a fight here versus Colorado, and with the Avs, with adding players back into the lineup and all those shifts, I do think mistakes could come. We know the Seattle Kraken have been able to capitalize on some teams' mistakes. Now, they've lost their last 4 road games. Vegas is on deck at home on Friday, so not a great scheduling spot. They've lost the last 4 as a dog, but I think Colorado could win this in OT. So I'm going to take Colorado first period puck line, laying the half a goal. You're getting great plus money. I think 4-3 style win. So I'd look to the over, and then overtime coming in at plus 380. So like again for his points, they just won this matchup back on October 22nd, 3-2. I think there's more goals coming in. We know Seattle's been shut out in their last 2 games. This team is going to need to come out and get those goals on the board today. They cannot take another loss here by shutout. And we know Colorado, if you just want to play that over on Colorado's team total, team is so strong offensively. Joey Decord expected in net here for the Seattle Kraken. I can see Colorado easily flying over those 3.5 goals. So I do think it makes sense to look at Colorado's team total as well. One thing, though, I don't love Colorado on that puck line. They failed to cover the puck line in their last 10 home games. So I can't get there on that puck line, and that juice is ticking up on the money line. You guys know I won't get there with that. Minus 1.5 on that puck line at plus 132. See, I can't touch, but you can't touch because they haven't done that in the last 10 at home. I can't touch the Seattle Kraken plus 1.5. It's minus 164. So Colorado's team total, let me just give you the juice on that because I don't have it in front of me. Colorado's team total over 3.5 minus 108. I would go there. I think they get 4 goals in this one on Joey Decord. We've seen this team actually step up a little bit defensively, but they're going to have to open up their game. They're going to have to play strong offense. It leads to mistakes, and Colorado will be able to score because of it. Okay, Vancouver. The Vancouver Canucks on the road versus the Anaheim Ducks. Vancouver, a big favorite in this one on the road, minus 230 here. I'd hate to see what this line, they'd be a $3 favorite if they were at home here. Total of 6.5, minus 132 to the under. Lots of juice to the under today, and plus 108 to the over. Realistically, if it wasn't for Dostal in net for the Anaheim Ducks. I would think Vancouver could just dominate and go over this total themselves. I'm going to get in and out here with the Vancouver Canucks. I'm going to take them in the first period. I told you guys I like first period puck lines today. In the first period to come out strong, win the first period by a goal. That's coming in at plus 128. So that's puck line minus a half a goal here for the Vancouver Canucks at plus 128. This team's sitting third in the Pacific, like again expected in goal tonight. Now, this team has been allowing those goals to come in. They're off an overtime win versus the Sharks. Yes, the Sharks pushed them to overtime 3-2. They're at the Kings on Thursday. So that is why I kind of look at this look ahead situation at the Kings on Thursday. This could be a game off an overtime game, that sandwich game where they overlook the Anaheim Ducks, because let's be realistic. This Anaheim Ducks team isn't scaring anyone. Yes, we have Troy Terry has been able to light the lamp, and we keep playing player props on him to come out strong. But this is also a team with the worst. They allow the most shots on goal per game at 35.1. Their face-off is the worst in the league at 42.5%. They have the worst ability to get those. They can't get the goals. They're only averaging 2.18, which is the worst in the league. So it is scary to look at the Ducks plus 1.5. It's too juiced for me. But if Vancouver does go up first in the first period, it's plus 1.5 at minus 138 right now. The juice is falling on this. It was plus 1.5 at minus 144. So that is interesting to see. But if we see Vancouver go up by one goal, you guys, I'm crazy enough to come back in on the Ducks plus 1.5. If I'm getting that at any kind of plus money here, I don't want to lay any juice on it, but the Ducks have covered the puck line as a dog versus at home versus Vancouver in the last 4 matchups. This is a team that really Vancouver underestimates when they roll in to Anaheim. Can you guys hear my dog sneezing? He's so obnoxiously sneezing in the hallway outside of my studio. So apologies for that. But Vancouver has won the last 7 meetings. So they get the win. They're just not really covering that puck line. So Brock Besner leading this team in goals. We also have Quinn Hughes. Quinn Hughes, first in assists with 7 assists on the season for the Vancouver Canucks. So Troy Terry leading in goals for the Anaheim Ducks with 5 goals and 9 points. So 5 goals, 4 assists out there. It should be an interesting one. Let's see what Vancouver can do. Give me the first period for Vancouver, and then, we'll see if we come back in on that. Happy Tuesday, Joe. I think the Kraken have every ability to come out nice and strong. Edmonton just didn't look their best out there. They were really trying to confuse us yesterday, saying Connor McDavid made morning skate, and then he didn't make the lineup. So it's something you've always got to watch. It feels like a little bit of head games with Connor McDavid and what's happening. He should be out on the ice this weekend for the Edmonton Oilers. You just look at Edmonton. They're so up and down as of late. I have 2 dogs, actually, American Staffordshire and a Chihuahua. They make a great mix. Ducks and Canucks, first period over 1.5 goals. Big Brown, I like that over 1.5 goals. You bet the first period over minus 130. I like where you're going with that. I do think those goals should come in. Now let's talk the night game, the 10:30 Eastern matchup. If you guys are awake for this one, it's a late one, but it's going to be a fun one, I do think, between Columbus and San Jose. Celebrini is back in this lineup, you guys, and I can't wait to take Celebrini for his points out there tonight. I think Tyler Toffoli and Celebrini could get a point each. Could they get 2 points each? Absolutely. They were able to do that when we saw them on the ice before Celebrini went out with injury. So I love the combination of the 2 of them out there. The kill is strong for the Sharks. Now let's look at current lines, okay? Because I like both of these teams. I love these young, scrappy teams that are just playing with so much heart out there over, the Wild and the Canes. I like the Wild and the Canes, but you look at these scrappy teams that no one expects to get the wins, and I love when we see them matched up versus each other. So the San Jose Sharks up plus 104, minus 125 here for the Columbus Blue Jackets, total of 6.5, minus 122 to the under. I think this one goes over. You're getting the over at plus 100. I will take this one to the over. I think this is a 4-3 style game. I think both of these goaltenders are hit hard by their opponents tonight. Elvis expected here for Columbus and Blackwood expected for the St. Louis Blues. Now, the Columbus Blue Jackets have lost their last 2 games. They're off that loss to the Capitals. It was disgusting on the road 7-2. The Washington Capitals, another team, like, holy heck, is that team stepping up offensively? How they put 7 goals in that game. This is a team that used to grind it out, play low scoring games, and they've stepped up so strong. But back to Columbus. This is game 2 of a 5-game road trip here. They're at the Kings on Saturday, the Ducks on Sunday. We look here at the San Jose Sharks. They have won 3 games so far on the season, sitting 8th in the Pacific. So they're not a huge threat, you guys, but those 3 games they won, we were able to roll with them when they broke that streak. You got to look at scheduling spots for each of these teams. Now, there's not enough of a scheduling spot here for me to back the San Jose Sharks versus Columbus. I do think, though, the Sharks at home, it's a nice way to look. I like the plus money. They're playing games tight this season. You even look at those losses, and yes, they've been blown out in a couple, but we've seen Columbus blown out in a couple of these games as well. With Celebrini back in the lineup, give me Celebrini for 2+ points. Give me Tyler Toffoli for 2+ points. I'm looking at this one to go over 6.5. Now, the Columbus Blue Jackets first period might be a great way to go. Look at Columbus to come out first, score on Blackwood. The puck line in the first period for the Columbus Blue Jackets because they won the first period when a road favorite in their last 5 games. So this is a team as a favorite on the road. They're able to win that first period, and they've won the last 7 games on the road as a favorite as well. So that kind of goes against why you take the Sharks. So it's kind of weighing on me here. They have won the last 4 meetings as well. I love their top line. I love what Monahan has been able to produce for this team. Give me a fun back and forth goal fest where we can cash in on the points. I'll take Monahan for his points as well for the Columbus Blue Jackets. 3 of the last 4 games have gone over that total. Let's just look at a couple of those point totals to see if they've come up, you guys, because by the time I start this show, lots of times they are not up yet. So Monahan for the point coming in at -138. Celebrini at -138 as well. So Celebrini with the Sharks and Monahan with the Columbus Blue Jackets. They are not, there's Tyler Toffoli. He's +150. If you just want to take Monahan, Celebrini, Toffoli, all for a point tonight, combined parlay, it's almost 3-1 to your money. It's +192 right now on FanDuel. And I do think that comes in. Now, I told you I would look at Toffoli, especially Toffoli for 2+ points. He's coming in at +340 for 2+ points. Celebrini, I think, can get them as well. He's coming in at +350 for 2+ points. So you could combine those 2 together, bet them separately is probably what I would do. And then Monahan coming out here for 2+ points at +360. I think we just go back and forth and get those points on the board, you guys. Inconsistent Oilers, that is for sure. But that is everything today. Huge slate today. Looking ahead at tomorrow, I believe we've got 2 games, 3 games on deck tomorrow. Let's just see what we've got on deck tomorrow. Yeah, 3 games on deck tomorrow. So we have the Nashville Predators taking on those Washington Capitals that I've been talking about are so freaking hot offensively. We've got the Detroit Red Wings taking on the Chicago Blackhawks. Blackhawks just got that win on the weekend. We have Vegas taking on Edmonton. So that's going to be an interesting matchup for those inconsistent Oilers to see if they're able to get something done here versus Vegas. It's going to be a battle of all battles between those 2, battle of the Pacific, with Vegas sitting as one of the leaders in the Pacific and Edmonton not far behind them right now. So current odds on that one, you guys, -120, +100 for Vegas. If you like Vegas, grab it now because I do think that line shifts. But we'll break down that game and the other 2 games tomorrow here on Puck It with Jo. Again, we are live every single day of the week, Monday to Sunday. There's not a day we're going to take off unless there's no hockey here on SportsGrid TV for Puck It with Jo. You guys, I appreciate each and every one of you joining me here today. If you can hit that like button, we've almost got 900 people watching live right now. So if you can hit that like button, hit that retweet button, I would so greatly appreciate it. It will help the show go each and every single day here on SportsGrid TV. And of course, all the picks and predictions are free. So you guys, please help me out. Okay. All the best in all of your bets. We'll be back here tomorrow, noon Eastern, you guys. Check out the SportsGrid app. if you haven't already. And until tomorrow, best of luck in all of your bets.
Hit some anytime goals.